Hey guys, welcome. Sunday night, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 p.m. in here in sunny Spain, but I know most of you log in from the UK, but loads of other places in the world too. And I am here again, sharing my training and tips on how you can make 10K days your new normal, explode your business, and become a fierce female entrepreneur. And that's my goal for you. Every week I show up here to help you make that goal a reality. Now, before I kick off, because I'm just going to give some people the opportunity to join, because it's only been the second week that I've been over on my business page doing these lives. I normally do them on my personal profile. So what I'm going to do is just share with you what I've been doing with my Sunday while you guys are all getting logged in. I've been planning. I've had one of those days, as you can probably see, where I've not done my hair. So it's all, I don't even think you can call that a messy bun. I don't know what I've got going on. Hi, Caroline. PJs, comfies all day, lounging around in the garden, in the sun, planning out my week. Hi Kate, hi Laura, hello everybody. As you're logging in, guys, give me a hashtag live if you're live, a hashtag replay if you're watching on replay. And also, tell me where you are in the world, where you are specifically. So if you're in the UK, tell me what city. If you're in America, tell me what state, because I'm going to be running some live events very, very soon. And I'm looking for the best possible location that suits most of you guys to get to a live event. So it'd be really helpful if when you've given me a hashtag replay or a hashtag live, you could also tell me where you are in the world. Now, tonight, we're going to talk about what to do when the shit hits the fan. Because this is something I see coming up over and over again for people that are building a business and are super busy and want to be focused and motivated and inspired and creative all of the time. People like that. Hi Leona, Spain, that's my neighbour. She lives not too far from me. Another incredible influencer in the online space. Go and check out Leona's page. She runs an amazing group called Mums in Business Association, or better known as MIBA. Incredible movement for any of you mums that are in business. So where was I? I digress. So I've been thinking a lot recently about the system for success when it comes to dealing with problems, negativity, trauma, challenges. Because the one thing that can derail us really quickly is stuff that gets in up here, things that we can't avoid. We want to feel unstoppable all of the time, absolutely. But I also know that a common trend for entrepreneurs is that it's not the strategy stuff necessarily that stops you. Yeah, you need to know the strategy stuff and you can learn that and apply that, but it's never that kills your mojo. It's never that stops you from being super productive. It's actually the other stuff. It's the stuff that can happen that is really outside of our control, that can completely derail us. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. What to do when the shit hits the fan and how to stay resilient through that, so you can always be focused when life throws you a curveball. And it might not be in business, it might be outside of business in life, because it's all relevant, they're all closely connected. And I want to give you a bit of context and a bit of raw honesty about why I'm sharing this with you tonight, what prompted me to share it, but also how I've applied the things that I'm going to share with you. Because I'm not the sort of coach, and have never been the sort of coach that would share anything that's just philosophy. You know, things that I've not implemented myself and had success with. That's the only thing that I ever train. I never kind of think, oh, that would work for somebody, let's talk about that, or that might work, or that looks good in theory. It's really not my style. So in order for me to share this with you in a really honest way, it means I've got to be honest with you about some challenges that I've faced recently where I've had to apply this stuff to stay focused and continue getting results. And I'm not going to go into like loads of detail about the challenges and exactly what happened to me, because I don't want to give it loads of energy, but I just want to give you some context to work with throughout these steps tonight. So let me just give you an idea on what I mean, first of all, by this stuff that might derail you. I call them triggers, okay? So triggers are things that trigger an emotion and a feeling or a state change in us. They trigger us from feeling great to feeling less than great, less than motivated, less than inspired. Some triggers are within your control, and that's not what I'm talking about tonight. So these triggers could be things like, you know, the things that you do. Hi, Andrea. the things that you do that you know don't serve you, but you do them anyway. Like some of mine are eating junk food. My energy always dips when my diet's bad. If my diet's good, I've got a great mindset. They're really, really closely linked. Or not exercising, or engaging in gossip and shit conversations with negative people. Things like that. We can control that stuff easily because we just don't do it. But there are some things, other triggers that are out of our control, things that just show up for us in life that we can't predict. Hi Charlie, hey Uzma. We can't predict, we don't know when they're going to show up, and bang, we're derailed. It's that stuff I really want to focus on tonight. Now, a friend prompted me to share this because in July I had my most challenging month in business, definitely this year, but I would say for a few years, for a really long time actually. It was the shittest month for so many reasons outside of my control in terms of triggers. And I'll share just a couple of things that happened with you. And there's a fly in the room, great. The first thing was my Facebook got hacked repeatedly, over and over again. And it was quite an intentional hacker with a specific agenda, which was very personal. So what they were doing was they were hacking into my Facebook and deleting content that I'd recorded and live videos that I'd done specifically to sabotage business. They were going onto my business page and sabotaging ads and things like that. So it was really specific. You know, it wasn't just your average hack where somebody goes in and sends all your messages, all your friends' dick pics. It wasn't like that at all. It was really quite targeted about my business, and it hurt. It really hurt. You know, someone hacking me and playing with my Facebook, I can tolerate that because you just think, you know, it's one of those things. But when it's someone that's deliberately doing things, and you know, in which case it must be somebody that knows you and has a certain agenda, so it feels really, you feel really vulnerable and you know, you feel quite, you know, it's like online bullying in a sense. So it was something I'd never encountered before, and that hurt. The second thing that happened around the same time, funnily enough, probably connected, is a group of people that I would say, you know, a mixture of associates, but actually some that I call friends, a group that all know each other, are in similar businesses, were really quite nasty in terms of gossipy and talking about me behind my back, and it was getting back to me. And some of the things they were saying were like, you know, who does she think she is? And I don't want to know how much money she earns. What the fucking hell is she doing? How is she just done? What triggered it apparently was that I talked about quite openly on Facebook, as I always have. You know, I'm not just a business strategy coach. I also I've trained in money mindset, and it's something that's really important to me. Hey Vince, stranger. Something that's really important to me. So I'm I have a great relationship with money. I don't feel ashamed or feel the need to shrink back and not share success. In fact, I'll share it to inspire other people and show them that it's possible. And on this particular month, I'd shared that I'd hit my first $130,000 month. And this triggered things in a few people that I never expected it from. And conversations were happening behind my back, like, who does she think she is? Oh my God, what's she doing? Hey Laura, hey Amy. Why isn't she sharing with us how she's doing that stuff? She's keeping her cards really close to her chest. What the fucking hell is she doing? Well, I'm going to look into her on Company's House and make sure it's legit. In fact, I'm going to look into the legal side. I reckon she's making false claims. Like, seriously, guys, this is the shit that people were saying. And now, you know, I can smile and laugh about it because I recognise it for what it is. But at the time, you know, some of them associates, it still hurts. But some people that I genuinely thought were my friends, like genuinely thought they were my friends, genuinely thought they had my back, genuinely thought they were part of my tribe. And tough lesson. And the third thing that happened in the same month, this is all in the month of July, was another friend stroke associate. Somebody was growing into a friendship, because I don't use that word lightly, but it was definitely blossoming into a friendship. Tried to rip me off financially in a business deal. So in the space of 1 month, all of that stuff happened. But this was July, and it was also the month that I hit my first 200k month. So I actually up-leveled from the month before, despite all of the shit. And I was having a conversation with one of my friends about this, Sarah McDonough, if you're watching this, shout out to you. And it was just through Messenger, and she said to me, Michelle, her words were, because she doesn't mince her words, so if you're offended by language, I've probably already swore up until this point actually, but if you're offended by language, tune out now, and if you've got children around, warning sign. But her words to me were, you're a resilient little fucker. You need to share this stuff. You need to share your coping mechanisms and how you stay focused, because this is the thing that people come up against. These are the things that people come up against that stops them, and it affects their success and it affects their ability to focus. So I was like, right, you're right. I need to share this because I believe everything can be taught. I believe everything can be modelled. Not just strategy stuff. It doesn't have to be like the how-tos, like post this on Facebook, use this cheat to cheat the algorithms, do this, do that. It doesn't have to be that stuff, only that stuff that can be learned. We can learn everything. We can model successful people on the way they think, how they apply things for confidence, belief, and all of this stuff can be learned and taught too. And that's what I want to focus on tonight. So dealing with adversity, and how to stay resilient and focused so that it doesn't affect your ability to progress and have success when you've got stuff going on that's completely outside of your control. And these are my steps to doing that. Step one. Step one is allow yourself a set amount of time, and agree this time period with yourself. Allow yourself a set amount of time to be pissed off, to be upset, to cry, to punch things, to eat loads of cake, to scream, to call people on really shit names. No, please not to their face, but you know, shout you fucking bitch, and be okay with being that person for a set amount of time and get it out of your system. Because, do you know, we're taught so much to be positive, 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 and yes, it's such a fundamental part of being successful is having a positive mental attitude. But we are human, and sometimes bottling things up and trying to suppress just how we're feeling isn't healthy. So I'm a firm believer in giving yourself a set amount of time to lick your wounds, cry, and be okay with not being okay. So when this stuff started happening to me in July, I said to myself, right, and it was obviously 3 separate occasions across this month where these things happened. So at each time I said to myself, okay, how much time is reasonable for me to give myself to get over this? And it really depends on how bad you're feeling in that moment. Sometimes it will mean taking the whole day out, you know, a full 24 hours, cancelling your plans and just allowing yourself time to be pissed off and do the things that you want to do with that time. I called some of my mates and was just like, can you fucking believe this shit? And I was that person for a while, and I was okay with being that person because I knew it was a healthy process that I just needed to go through to come out the other end of it. And then I had the time where I just wanted to not talk about it and watch Netflix and eat loads of ice cream and cake and biscuits, and just then I had my moments where I wanted to play songs that were fuck you songs and scream them and bellow them out and pretend I was singing it directly to the people that had pissed me off. A bit like a Bridget Jones moment. I had that time too. And I just allowed myself to be across that 24 hours however I wanted to be, and not feel guilty and not beat myself up for feeling the way I'm feeling, but just allow myself to go there. And that's step one. Really give yourself that time because it's necessary. Step two, get fascinated. Get fascinated by the situation. And when I say get fascinated by the situation, I mean everything that is part of that situation that you're faced with. So first of all, get fascinated by the people or person that has maybe hurt you or caused you pain or caused you to be angry or whatever it is that you're going through. Get fascinated by them. Because whenever we switch to fascination, we can learn a few things and we can bring a very different perspective. Because when something or someone hurts us, we're emotional. And we're emotional thinking and we're making emotional decisions, and we're probably not seeing it rationally, and we're definitely not seeing it from their side because we're consumed by the way we're feeling. And that's okay in step one, but in step two, we need to move out of that state because it doesn't serve us to stay in that state for long periods of time. And that state is what hinders our progression. We want to move out, transition into fascination. So I started asking myself questions like, I wonder what would cause someone to act that way? What would cause her or those people to act in that way against me? What's going on for them? Let me step into their shoes and imagine what might be causing this behaviour. what might be driving their behaviour, how might they be thinking, feeling, and maybe they're hurting, maybe they're struggling right now in their own business, maybe they're not seeing the results they want to see. Maybe, which is true for some of them, there's been a dynamic shift in our relationship, because some of them are people that I used to look up to because they had more success than me at one point, they had more money than me at one point, and suddenly there's been a dynamic shift in that circle and they're not comfortable with it, and maybe there's a bit of that going on. And it really allowed me to see that, okay, this person's hurting, this person's feeling a certain way, and they've projected that in my direction. But it's not really about me. It's more about them than it is about me. And it really, really, maybe they're just jealous twats, Charlie. Yeah, that's step one. I called them that a few times. but yeah, it's just working out, why are they feeling the way they're feeling? What might be going on for them? And when I was able to do that, I was able to not only get fascinated, but show compassion and get to a space where I didn't take it as personally, but also get fascinated by your reaction to what's happened. And this really takes some bravery, some courage to look at yourself and say, why did I react? Why did it trigger me so intensely? What specifically happened that I can see that is an area of growth for me? Because if you're triggered really intensely, that is your shit. It's their shit with the way they've treated you, but it could be your shit in how you've been triggered. So when I looked at the things that had happened, my Facebook being hacked, why had that triggered me so intensely? Because it felt like a personal invasion. And then I also thought, well, actually, it's triggered me because it's opened up some vulnerabilities in my security settings. So that's something I can write down and really brainstorm this stuff, like get fascinated about your reaction. And when just in being fascinated, I noticed, there are some holes in my security. I could tighten up on that, I could do it better. Why else has it triggered me? Probably because I've not been backing up all my videos that they've deleted. So now I've lost them all. So there's another lesson. It's triggered me because I haven't backed up my stuff, which is a huge, shame on me moment. So there is some things that I can really take from this. And the other thing is, this is where the third thing kicks in that you get fascinated about, and that is get fascinated about the lessons that the universe are gifting to you in that moment. Because the universe is constantly giving us feedback, and that might come in the form of shit people and shit friends and really hard times and hurtful stuff, but it's all feedback from the universe. Then you start getting fascinated about that. How can I learn something from this? What might I be being nudged right now to learn that's going to benefit me and make me better and my business better because of it? And I looked at this stuff and I thought, oh my God, there's so much. There's the security stuff, there's backing up my videos, there's in terms of the friends that hurt me and the things that they were saying, it's being careful who I surround myself with. All the signs were there. Some of these people, I've always had a niggling feeling that I don't trust. So why, I didn't listen to that. So there was a lesson in there for always listening to myself. And in terms of being, what's the word? In the business deal that I had with a friend going wrong, there was lessons there too. When I look back in that, I was like, there was lessons because I could have communicated better when I wasn't happy, and there was lots and lots of lessons. And when I started writing them down, I started to be able to reframe, which is step 3. Reframe the problem using better language, because a problem is only a problem if we describe it as a problem. And what I mean by that is our biggest problem isn't the actual thing, it's the way we describe it to ourselves, because that's what messes us up. So when I'm going, in day 1, when I'm allowing myself my pity party, when I'm going, I'm being attacked, I'm being cyber attacked, and oh my God, they're going to destroy my online business, and all of my friends have turned against me, and nobody likes me, and I must be a terrible person, and why does no one like me, and all of this stuff that's going around. That's the way I'm describing that problem to myself, and that's what's causing me pain. And although I'm going to allow myself that time to wallow in it, it's now time on step 3 to really reframe that and word it differently using better language. So actually, when you're looking at it, wow, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that my only problem right now is being attacked and hacked and talked about because my success is so great that it's hard to ignore right now. And as soon as you switch and reframe that problem, it's like, wow, that's a huge shift in the way you feel. And also, I'm so grateful that I've just had this incredible lesson and I've been able to up my security. I'm really grateful I've just learned that some people that I thought were friends aren't friends. So when we start reframing and using better language to describe the same situation to ourselves, we automatically feel much better about it, and that's step 3. And then step 4 is about really looking for the blessings. And I would say, make a note of these blessings. Actually physically take time to write them down and use the new language. So I'm so grateful that my Facebook was hacked because now I can ... I'm so grateful that this happened because now I can ... And some things you might find it hard to say you're grateful for at first, because some things might not be as trivial as this stuff that I'm talking to you about now. You might be experiencing loss and, you know, real trauma that's outside of business, that's more than just people chatting shit about you and deleting your videos on Facebook. There might be other stuff going on for you that you feel it hard to say I'm grateful for. I used this technique when I lost my granddad, and he was like, I still can't talk about it now, so I'm not gonna. I only have to think about that loss and it rips me apart, but I manage it, and I've managed it using these steps, because actually what I recognised was, in his death, I found a newfound appreciation for memories. I am so grateful that that loss made me more focused on making memories with the family that I still have here. I'm so grateful that the lessons he taught me are more profound now because he's not here. Because you do, you know, when someone's not here anymore that used to teach you things, you end up seeing their lessons in a whole new light, because you appreciate their words more, because you can't have another conversation with them. So there was so much to be grateful for in that loss as well. So you can use this for any situation. Step 5, take action. Take action. How will you now turn this into a positive? What will you actually physically now go and do, because you're better despite of this challenge, you're better despite of this trauma? And this now, you know, now it's time to really dust yourself off and go, right, I've been through the shit, I've kicked, screamed, shouted, cried, I've had that moment, I've reframed it, I've changed it, I've looked for the gratitude, I've found the lessons, now it's time for me to do something with it. And this is how I did my first 200k month through all of that, because I thought, right, okay, let's up my freaking game on social media and my security. Let's up my game in terms of the content that I'm pushing out there, because either I'll inspire them to just be better and the haters to just think, actually, let me just crack on, or I'll piss them off with being even better than I was before. Either way, I'll win. So I channeled it into something so much greater and started to take action because of it. And that's the bit that's going to help you to really shift these things, these struggles, into blessings and actually a recipe for success. So point 5, take action. Make a list of the things you need to do as a result and crack on and do it. Number 6, forgive. You don't want to carry around anger and animosity, because anything less than high vibe is only going to hurt you. You know, the great feelings, the feelings of love and kindness and abundance and happiness, they're the things you need to be feeling to operate at your optimum level, to get the best out of yourself and achieve the best amount of success that you could be achieving. You can't carry any baggage in, you know, if you're going to really perform like that, you can't carry any less than high vibe feelings into your day. So you've got to bless and release at this point. You've got to find it within yourself to bless and release. And this is more for people that have done wrong by you. And this is how I do this. There's a really few simple steps to forgiveness that honestly will set you free. We're not saying it's okay. We're not saying that we still need to maintain a relationship. Like every single one of these people that were involved in July, done. I've cut them out completely, because they are not people that I want to be around. So it's not saying I forgive you and I welcome you back in. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm saying forgive to release yourself more than anything else, and be able to go forward with love in your heart and lessons and gratitude. So here's how I do it. First of all, go back to the understanding exercise and think, yeah, okay, I can see this. I can see how that person just doesn't think the same as me. I can see how that person's struggling with their own stuff at the moment. I can see how that person's been hurt and had trauma, and they're just dealing with it in the best possible way, and I'm getting the brunt force of that. But that's okay. I forgive them for that, because I can see that inside of us, we're all just children. We're all just little kids. There's an inner child of every part of us, and that inner child of that person that was talking about me and slating me for you know, the income I was receiving and things like that. That person is just a little girl that's really hurting right now. It's almost throwing all of her toys out of the pram and going, why not me and why not now? I work hard too. And I get that. We've all felt like that a little bit time. They might have took it to an extreme that I wouldn't take it to, but I understand it. They're human too. So when I start to understand it, I can start to forgive it. And then I can look at it and say that I'm setting me free and I'm setting you free by forgiving this. And if you really struggle with this, there's a couple of exercises that you can do. Now, I didn't need to do this on this occasion, but I have done it previously when things have been a little bit more deep-rooted. First thing you can do is write a letter of forgiveness. You don't have to post it, they never have to read it, but it just means that you can get it on paper. You know, tell them all the reasons that you're grateful for what they did to you. Tell them all the reasons why you love them anyway and why you forgive them. Because wouldn't the world be different? Honestly, like, wouldn't the world be such an incredible place if when someone told you were shit, you said, well, I still think you're amazing. And when someone told you that you were too big for your boots, you told them that you think that they could be so much more. When someone told you that you're never going to make it, you told them that you believe in them wholeheartedly. Imagine if we could switch it around like that, because normally what we do is fight fire with fire. You know, if someone tells you that you're not good enough, you tell them that they're the best thing since sliced bread. Meeting fire with fire and meeting animosity with animosity never ever helps anybody or anything or any situation. It just pours petrol on the bonfire. So what about if we can just get our thoughts on paper and just share how much we genuinely care about that person and how much we forgive them? You don't have to tell them. If you wanted to tell them, great, but you don't have to. You could just burn it afterwards or rip it into little pieces, but just getting it off your chest and onto paper is going to really help you. And then if you feel ready, you can then do a really simple meditation that helps you to just release that negativity and that hurt. And I've done this a few times. It's really powerful, and I call it cutting of the cord. And basically what you do is just get yourself into a position where you're not going to be disturbed, and you can close your eyes and relax. You might want to do it to music, and you know, focus on your breathing like you would for any other meditation. Take yourself to that place where you can clear your mind a little bit. Obviously, thoughts still come up, but you kind of let them go. And then you start visualising this person who's hurt you, this person that you've forgiven. Visualise them like you can see them in front of you. It might just be their face, it might be their full silhouette, whatever it is, that first image that comes to mind, just see them in front of you. And see this huge cord attaching the two of you. Because that cord that's attaching the two of you, that represents those feelings that you're holding on to. Because it's true that they can only hurt you when you're holding on to them. One story, it's like an old wives' tale, if you like, but it's really relevant. A story that really stays with me on this subject is the story of two monks. And they were on this huge trek. They'd got to walk from like one side of a mountain to the other. And as they were walking, they saw a lady trying to cross a river that they were crossing, and she was really struggling, and she was getting really stressed and emotional because she was very little and petite, and she really was worried about crossing this river and it washing her out to sea, because the current was really, really strong. And the one monk looked at her and said, "Come on, I've got you." And he picked her up and he put her on his back and he carried her across the river and he put her down. And the other monk looked at him and went, "That's terrible. We should not, because of the religion they follow, be touching a woman in the way you've just touched that woman. That's completely inappropriate." And he said, "Okay, I wanted to help," and left it at that. And as they carried on walking, this monk's going on and on and on about how he shouldn't have picked up this woman. And the other monk turns to him and said, "The difference between me and you is that I put that woman down at the side of the river and you're still carrying her." And it's that in an instant. We can choose to put it down or we can choose to carry it. And this cutting of the cord exercise helps us to just put it down. So when we visualise that person, we can see the cord. When you've got that in your mind in clear clarity, you can then call in, whether you believe in angels or God or your higher self or a loved one that's passed over, call them in to cut the cord and see them cutting it with a sword or scissors or an axe. And then just watch that person drift off because you've released it. And that's the cutting of the cord meditation. And take as long as you need. When you feel it, and you feel it actually, sometimes I've had to call in someone 10 times throughout this meditation and I'm like, cut it, because it's still there and I can still feel it. But when you actually release it, you feel a physical shift and you're able to move on. and not take that baggage with you. So that's number 6, which is forgive. And that's the final point, 6 points. I'm just going to very quickly recap for you. And if you've just logged in and you haven't caught all of it, you might want to start from the beginning, especially if you're somebody that's going through some stuff right now that you think that you need help to shift so that you can still focus on your business. So number 1 was allow yourself that set amount of time to be an absolute child, be a brat, scream and shout and go mental. Step 2, get fascinated. Step 3, reframe the problem and use better language to describe it to yourself. Step 4, look for the blessings. Step 5, take action. And step 6, forgive. Now, what I'd love you to do, guys, if you've got benefit from tonight, if you think this is valuable stuff, I would love you to share this video, because I guarantee there's people out there right now that might need to hear this. People that are going through some stuff, let's help them. Let's get the information in front of them so that they can get through this in a smoother way. But also, if you've got any friends that you think, okay, they're having a shit time right now, or they've been hurt, recently, feel free to tag them in this video so that they can watch it if you don't want to share it out. But let's try and help as many people with this stuff as we can, because I know it derails so many people. And if we can thrive through struggles, we are absolutely unstoppable in the pursuit of success. Now, I also have live training, so I'm here every Sunday, as you probably know by now, but I'm also now live in my free community, the Miss Moneybags Movement, every Thursday evening with different trainers. It's not the same training, it's different every week. So you can search on Facebook, the Miss Moneybags Movement, and add yourself into my free community to get more training like this, and on lots and lots of other topics, some mindset and some business strategy. Thank you so much for logging in, guys. I love you. Mwah.